Hi, in this video we will talk about arrays in C++. What is array? Array is just that we define many variables with the same name. Let me give you an example. I can define integer x and I can give integer x the value of 5. In the same way, I can define a collection of variables with the same name. Let's say I define array y. Let's say the array has 10 elements. So in this case, I define not one variable, I define 10 variables. And the variable are y0. So all the variable has the name y, but I can choose the index to choose which variable I want. Like y0 means the variable at position 0. So it's like I have an array of values and I need the value at position 0. So when I have array of size 10, then I have 10 value starting from 0 to 9. So if I say y0, I want to store 6, y1, I want to store 10, and so on. So I can deal with these variables. I can decide to store in y2. I can store in y2, for example, y0 plus y1. So in this case, what will be stored in y2? It will be stored 6 plus 10, which is 16. So if you want to print, you can print any variable of this array. For example, you want to print y2. So let me run, it should print 16. And yes, it's printing 16. So the idea of the array is that you have one variable, y, but instead of storing only one value in this variable, we store many values. In this example, we are storing 10 values in this array. So array is very easy to use when we have a large number of values and we want to deal with them in the same way, with the same name. In this case, we can use loops to give them value. Let me give you an example. In this array, if I want to give values for these variables, I don't need 10 lines to write the value of each variable, but instead of that, I can just create a loop from I equals to 10, I less than 10, and I plus plus. And in this case, I just write y of I. So the first time it will be y of 0, the second iteration it will be y of 1, and so on. Let's say I want to store the value I. So at the position 0, I will store 0. At position 1, I will store 1. At position 2, I will store 2, and so on. So these loops will give some values to this array. Let me do another loop, but for printing the values. So instead of giving values, I want to print cout yi. So I want to print the values that are stored in yi. I have 10 values. Every time I want to make end line. So it's expected to print values from 0 to 9 as expected. So I can change here. Let's say I want to store I multiplied by I. So in the position 0, I will store 0 multiplied by 0. In position 1, I will store 1 multiplied by 1. At position 2, I will store 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4, and so on. So I'm storing the square of the numbers. And as you see, we store the square of the numbers in the array. But one question, why do we need the array? Let me give you example to show you why we need arrays. So let me make a small program that you compute the average of 6 numbers or 5 numbers. So before we use the array, you need to define 5 variables. Let's say value 1 equals 69 and value 2 equal 74 and value 3 equal 85 and value 4 equal to 99 and value 5 equal to 20, let's say 55. Imagine these are grades. Imagine I want to print the average of these values. So I have to define int average equal v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus v4 plus v5, everything multiplied by divided by 5, right? I have to make brackets, and it's, let me make it double, and let me make it divide by 5.0. I divided by 5.0 that it has a double value, and then I want to print the double, the average, sorry. Imagine after that I want to print all the values that are less than the average. So I have make if statement, if v1 less than average, then I want see out v1. The same thing, I have to repeat this 5 times, this if statement, for v2, v3, v4 and v5. So we did it for v1, I have to do it for v2. If it's less than the average, I have to print it. I have to do it for v3. I have to do it for v4. And I have to do it for v5. And so on. So now we will see, we will print the average, and also we will print all the values that are less than the average. I'm writing 31. It should be only v3. So the average is 76.4, and I'm printing all the values that are less than the average. In this case, I have 3 values. So you see, if you have 5 values, then you have this long code. Imagine you have 10 values, then you have to make 10 if statements. Now I want to do the same things by array. So how to do the same things by array? First, I define a variable v of size 5. So it will be from v0 to v4. I will have 5 values. And then I will give the values like this. So v of 0 equal to 69. So this is like pretty the same. V of 1 equal to 74. V of 2 equal to 85. V of 3 equal to 99. And V of 4 equal to 55. So you see now I just define one array of 5 values and I give the values pretty much like this step. The same way I need to define the average, but now I don't have 5 variable, I only have 1, but I have to write the indices. This is called the index of the array, like v index 1, v index 2, v index 3, v index 4. And now comes the easy things. So let me print the average as well. So this step is the same. I want to print the average. And now I want to print 5 statement, if statement. But because I have array now, it's very convenient to make a loop. So for int I equals to 0, I less than 5, this is the size of the array, I plus plus, and then inside this loop I just write the if statement one time. If v of I, and this is the nice thing about the array, less than average, I need to print cout vi end line. So now you can see that I just need one if statement because I have array. So I compare vi. All the elements in the array have the same name, v. I just change the index. If it's less than average, then I will print it. So this is very similar to the code below, but it's much easier to write it like this. So let me delete this code below. I don't need now this 5 if statements. Let me run the code, and you will see it's just the same like before, but it's much easier now to deal with these numbers with an array. So this is just 5 variable. Imagine you want to deal with 100 variable. It's impossible to write, or very difficult to write 100 if statement. So this is just introduction about the arrays, and in the next video we'll know more about the arrays. Thank you.